Hi Pisces, welcome to a new era. My name is Emma. Pisces, this is your love reading starting today on the 18th, on the 18th of April. And I asked for your love story for the very near future, what we can find about it. And I've stopped to put an end date to it because if you find this a month or 6 months later than when I posted it and you feel like you resonate with it, don't rule it out. It's still your reading. So, what else? I've incorporated today's date also, not specifically 18, but the frequency of the number. So it's a gorgeous foundation for your reading because it's a number 1 with new beginnings, and number 8, which is the infinity sign, like the eternalness of things. It's a strong manifestation number as well. So in terms of your love story, there's strong manifestations happening right now, whether that is manifesting the actual relationship, or if you're already in a committed relationship, that you're seeing things come to fruition right now. And then combining those two, 8 plus 1 equals 9, which is an ending to something. So it could be you're ending something and then stepping into this new beginning. Or as I've felt lately, the number 9 is all about unconditional, being as unconditional as you possibly can. The highest type of being there is, really, to sort of not be judging the outside, but just staying true to who you are on the inside. So beautiful frequency, beautiful foundation for your love reading. And I can't leave out the fact that we have the month of April, which is the number 4, which is all about the heart matters and foundation. And then the entire year 2020 is a number 4. 2 plus 2 equals 4. So throughout the year, there's going to be a lot of raising of the vibration into the love vibration. So that's really gorgeous. So let's see specifically what's going on for you, Pisces, for the very near future. I'm using the Archangel Power Tarot cards by Doreen Virtue. If you don't like the shuffling, please fast forward. Pisces love story. Wow! Just dropped the whole deck there. I'm getting some movement, so let's see what starts to come out. You're taking your time on something, but once it gets going good. At least one more. There you go. Yep. So, just let me look at this for a brief moment. Yeah. I'm just seeing you working through something with yourself, or you're working through something with your partner. There is really, it's beautiful cards here on the table. First, we start with the number 9, which is awesome because I just talked about the number 9. There is an ending to something. There's a welcome ending, if that makes sense. Like, you don't want to be single anymore, so there's a person coming in, or we don't want to. I don't want to see this happen anymore. I want to see a different situation happening. And so therefore the beautiful ending is here. There's also the unconditioned. So it's like it's asking you at the same time as you're happy that somebody's over, but something is over. in terms of your love story, something is over. At the same time, you're being asked to sort of look at it as that it doesn't matter if it's over or not, that you find your happiness, you find your satisfaction or your alignment with yourself, with your higher self, no matter what, even though something is over or not, or even though something has shifted or not. That's the unconditioned here. And then it's Gabriel's. There's something about the inner child or children around you that is all about something. It could be your immediate family, so it could be your own kids, it could be somebody else's immediate family, just kids that you have around you. And kids, I mean, that could be, if they're your kids, they could still be older, right? So my kids, for instance, one is 2 and one is 20. You do the math in between what happened there. So because, one is 20, maybe you wouldn't say that he's a kid anymore, but he's still my child. So that's how I see it. Like, it could be grown up children as well, but it's still what you would consider your children. There's something that is coming to an end around that. This is a bit like, it might not be for all Pisces, but there's something about in terms of your love story, something around your children, or maybe your partner's children or other people's children being in your life has hindered an authentic relationship. Does that make sense? Like, there's some sort of okay, so I'm just going to give you an analogy here. It might not be the scenario, but just so you know what I mean. So if you have kids and you've already met a partner, so you're in a new committed relationship, you decided that here's where you want to be, but it sort of has been a bit tough for you to fully commit to this other person because maybe your kids and this new person is not getting along, and therefore you can't sort of get the pure you and the pure them coming together. It's not really having given an authentic chance for you guys to fully explore each other when you're at your very best and when they're at their very best, as long as the kids are around, if that makes sense. Another scenario could be that you're so committed to your kids. So anytime a new person comes in, and maybe you're having a beautiful relationship with your ex, that is your children's dad, and you might think like, I was here for my love story. This is your love story, and this is sort of what will hinder you, and this is also what will make it work, is what comes through here. I'm saying it's not for all Pisces, but it's for a lot of you still. It's like there's some attachment. There might be, for some of you guys, some attachment to your children's dad, or there's some attachment from your children's dad towards you, that as soon as you try to bring somebody new into your life, it's not completely pure, because the heart still somewhat goes out to the ex, if that makes sense. So there's like not fully being able to commit to the new person, because here's your old family, and there's sort of a certain what do you call that? You don't say that in English, do you? Jargong, I would say in Swedish. Like, there's a certain rhythm to it. There's a certain, your family, your humor, it's like old stuff will come out. There's like unofficial things just between you guys in your the previous family, the previous foundation of the family is like set in his ways. And so when the new person tries to come in, it's like, it's a bit tough on them. But then I want to say there is something to this, that it's about to shift. There's a 9 around it, and it's unconditional. So it's like it's asking you, first it wants to tell you that this is coming to an end. There's whatever's been going on with maybe your children, or if it's your partner's children, that has made it a bit difficult for you to really to really get close to them because they're so protective over their children, even though you're no harm to them, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that it's supposed to jive. It's supposed to, you know, are they doing a disservice to their other mom or dad, in including you, and to the, like, there's so many dynamics of this that needs to work for everybody to feel supported, to feel safe, to not feel like they're not chosen anymore or something like that. For some of you guys, this is coming to an end. There's something that has been a bit bothersome, like coming together for certain instances with your children. It always messes things up. It's like it's always so tough when you all are going to come together. And for some reason, it's almost like a miraculous. It's either that you brought this unconditional thing to heart, and you really don't matter. What? You really don't care anymore. It's like you really are, and it's not like you don't care about your people. It's just that you've let it go. You can't control how they're gonna act. You can't control your partner, and you can't control only yourself. And it's like, Pisces, you're the type of person who wants everybody to be happy, but that's not your. It's not your job. It really isn't your job to do that, and it's not your job to feel for everybody else what they're supposed to feel in this scenario. And so it's like either you can come into this unconditioned understanding that whatever like I started this reading saying, with the unconditioned of the basis of the reading, because due to today's date, it's like, no matter what anybody else is doing, or no matter what the circumstances are looking like on the outside, it has nothing to do with your happiness and your satisfaction, your alignment with source, right? And here, I mean, it's the toughest. I'm not, you know, I would say I'm slowly getting into sort of a magician-like energy. I hope I don't sound too arrogant. I'm just being honest. It feels like I've reached a place within my life where I'm really getting there. I'm really starting to get the hang of a lot of things and putting two and two together. And it feels like the most magical, what felt really mysterious just a while back is like, it feels like I'm getting that as well. Like feeling really comfortable with a lot of things. And then when it comes to your children, it's like, what was it again that I learned about? What was the magician-like thing there? I don't know, because it's gone right now. It's like, because you become this mama bear that just, you know, defends your children to the point of no return or something like that. And it feels like, so this, I'm not saying just be unconditional, just do you and don't give a crap about anybody else. Especially when it comes to your children, that is up there amongst one of the hardest things to sort of be unattached from, because they freaking came from whoever, whether you're the mother or the father here, they came from you. And I'm not saying that you can't be a papa bear. You know that feeling, like if you're connected in with your kids, you know what I'm talking about. That is not easy, and I'm not pretending that it's easy. But it's something that you've done and that you're being sort of guided to do right now. And that's be unconditional, to let everybody just have their emotion, let everybody do them, let everybody have a reaction to each other, and sort of don't try to start to meddle, to start to be the counselor for everybody. Are you happy? Are you happy? Oh, that person doesn't seem too happy. Let's, you know. And I feel like you almost laugh at yourself now when I'm saying this, because like, so me. Because it's Pisces, it's the Piscean, it's the deep emotion, it's the one wanting to care for everybody. And it's a good trait, it's a beautiful trait, as long as it doesn't sort of cut you in half. This is a major one, this is a biggie. There's something about, it sounds like you don't do it, but the fact that it's coming up, the fact that I'm talking about it, is the fact that you are being more unconditional. You are sort of letting go more and more and more, and letting people have their way with everything. And there is some sort of, whether that is you or something have shifted with them, or simultaneously just coming into sort of a place where everybody almost miraculously, it just works. All of a sudden you just work together. All of a sudden is not the drama anymore. It's not the, you have to become this different version of yourself as soon as your kids are involved, or as soon as your partner's kids are involved, or however that is playing out. Maybe this is like an every other week for some of you guys. Every other week you have their children or your children, or, you know, it's a tough one. But what I'm saying here is that it really is starting to solve itself, and that will bring you guys even closer together. And if you're single, Pisces, I feel like the story around you is that you need to make some sort of, on the bottom here it says, stay determined and move forward. Be prepared for any possibility. And this is environmental activism. I'm not drawn to that on the bottom there, but I am drawn to the stay determined and move forward. Be prepared for any possibility. This is like, you've come to this place, Pisces, if you're single, you come to this place where you sort of, you know more and more what you want, and you know more and more who you are, and you know more and more like who your kids are. This, it feels more like I'm taking this on as because it's the Piscean, Pisces, let's just say. It's the Pisces reading that I'm doing, as some say. So it feels like it is for you, like it's from your perspective. So in this instance, I feel like it's you who have the kids, and there's something about staying your course, stay determined on what it is that you want, and sort of don't back down. If you meet somebody new, it's like this is the way. There's something around your kids that is so important. There's certain elements to it. There's certain, like, I don't believe in deal breakers, because I don't think that like that's a deal breaker for me. I think you just reach a high enough position and you will attract accordingly. And there's no unconditional energy in deal breakers. If you don't do that, I won't be happy. But it might mean that if I'm staying happy, I'm not even ever going to attract that, if that makes sense. So let's not get into the whole deal breaker thing, but I feel like you've decided for yourself something around your kids. This is important for me and the kids as a trio or duo, or how many children you have. And when I meet this person, this is how it's going to be, because it's so important to me. And it's almost like you add. So if they can't take that, it's a deal breaker. We can't be together. Don't add that. Just feel in your heart that this is what is important for you and your kids. There's something, I don't know, I feel the ex there. So if the ex is like your children's dad, there's something to that. There's something, maybe that it needs to be a clearer line, I think it's been tough for a new person to come in, because I feel like it hasn't been such a clear line to, like, I'm not saying I'm all for whoever wants to go on the same vacation, go on the same vacation. Exes, new boyfriends, new girlfriends, somebody's aunt, somebody's, I'm trying to say that. I say aunt. Anyway, so maybe there's an auntie, a British auntie. I don't know. Don't mind me. There's something about drawing a line. So there could be actually, Pisces, as it's coming through now. When you meet a new person, it could actually mean stay your course, stay determined in this new relationship. And when your ex, when your father or mother of your children is all of a sudden making noises because you're meeting somebody new, it might not even be that it's like you need to draw a line for your new person coming in. It might mean that you need to draw a line for the father or mother of your children to make it work for you. Because it feels like up until this point, you have not been able to, I'm soon in 20 minutes talking about this. So this is a big one for you. So I feel like up until now, and maybe even for committed people, up until now, you have not fully been able to be completely yourself, just as a love relationship between man and woman, or man and man, woman and woman, however you want to take it, man and woman, woman, between you and your loved one, that it hasn't been 100% pure. Because there's always been this element of not really working when it comes to the kids and the kids' mother or father, and the constellations around it. Is like, but it's up until this point, and it's like you're being asked to now stay the course, be determined about what you want. Don't be bitchy about it. Don't be a douchebag about it. But you know what you want, and stay that course. There's something coming to a completion here now. You're ending something. So I feel like there's movement forward. And what you're going to start to see, because with the next cards out, it's beautiful, because it feels like I already have talked about it now, because there's this next card, and yes, the program reverses the images in the cards. That's how it is right now. It's 15, and it's called, the card is called Decision. And on the bottom it says, release yourself from that which holds you back, and need to detox unnecessary worry based on lack of self-confidence. So I feel like it just continues on to talk about it in the same way. It's just you make a decision about what feels good to you, for you. What is the scenario that you want to see around this? How do you want it to play out? Whether you're in a committed relationship, or whether you're single and you're attracting somebody new, or maybe you're separated and that was the thing that drove you apart, because it was such a mess with your children, and you're sort of, that's the biggie, like, oh, I have to get in there again. But it's like you're setting yourself free now. You're letting yourself be free around this. You're not holding yourself accountable anymore. It's like, wait a minute, there's other grown-ups involved in this. I don't have to take this on fully for myself. But what you do need to do is make that decision to, like, what you want. How do you want it? Maybe even sit down and write it out on a piece of paper. This is the family situation that I want to see for me and my kids. Or if this is you being involved with this, like being in a separated situation, and it's not you who have kids, but it's your person that has kids. Feel in your head what it is that you want, and trust me, it's not that you want his or her kids out of your life. It's how do you work around this? Although when I say that, it might be okay. So this is an extra little side note with the extra little side note. There was a moment in my life, long story short, there was a moment in my life a gazillion years ago, that I had a huge battle with my oldest son's father over something. And I was just going on my son's wishes and wants, and it turned into this huge war. And it led to a point where I couldn't deal with it. I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the emotional stability. I didn't have any of that. So, which then it has led to, which is gorgeous, and why certain things like that happens, which is gorgeous. But in the meantime, what I learned, what came out of it, was to jump timelines. And if you don't know what that means, look it up. If you feel like, I don't care, it could help you. It really could help you. I needed to, because I was like, how can I not ever be in contact with my father's dad ever again? If he dies, don't tell anyone. If he dies, okay. Like, how can you do that to your child? Like, I was so freaking upset that I couldn't stay. I just could not have him be involved and stay in my energy. And I didn't know anything at the time about staying in my energy and any of that. So it was just a big freaking mess. And what I learned from then, a very beautiful, I came across this lady who really helped me at the time, who said, you know what, you don't have to have him in your life. I was like, well, it's my son's dad, and I can't take away, like, he has a you know, he needs to have his dad, and they need to have a relationship. I can't just, you know, for my sake, for my egotistical sake, I wish to never see him again, but it's his son. And she was like, well, have you heard of timelines? I was like, what? No? I was like, anything. Can I get him out of my life? Anything. I'll try anything. And she was like, well, you can be on your timeline, and within that timeline, this person doesn't exist. And then your son, he's in a different reality, and he has his timelines, and within his timeline, he can still have his dad. So you can be without him, and you can have your son, incorporate him. And I was like, that is what I'm doing. I had no idea that was going to put so much more on my growth, on my spiritual path, on like finding out so much more stuff. That was so beautiful how this thing pushed me into that. So I'm just saying that as a little side note, that some of you guys, if it's too tough, then you can't deal with your extra children. You can't deal with your separated person's children, or your separated person's ex to those children, however complicated, complex situations we're in. Whoever you need to rule out of your life, you can really learn about timelines, to choose a timeline for at least for right now, that they're not in it, and stick so strongly to it. Read up on it, because and you will find exactly the information you need to understand all this. If you want to, if that is a path for you, choose that. Choose for right now to not incorporate those in your immediate future whatsoever, and then focus purely on what you want. What is the family situation? How does it look for you? And if that involves you and your loved one with absolutely no children, then that is your timeline right now. And do not care that, well, every other week he has his kids, so what do I do about that? You can't incorporate that right now. That's not your timeline. Hope this makes some sort of sense. If this is brand new to you, I know it might sound a bit confusing. Or like, should I just not care about his kids? What are you talking about? This is you letting yourself go. You're letting yourself be free. You're choosing, but you need to choose. You need to almost sit down and write out what is it that you want right now, and stick to it. And have the confidence to maybe not even say to other people, or say to your loved one, or say to the person that you're about to meet, this is how it needs to be, or even your ex to your children, or your separated, whoever this concerns. You don't even have to express it out loud. This is for you, and for you then to stay in that energy. This is what I want for me. This is how I want it to look. And then don't say, I don't want this, but rather, I want this gorgeous coming together. I want a playful time. I want it to be really loving amongst everybody. And those who can't join into that, they just will have something that they will be busy with when the time comes, over and over again. And then not to force them in there. It's the third time that you say no. Don't force them. They don't match the picture that you presented, that you want to happen when everybody's supposed to be together. Okay? And 15, if you add those, number 1 plus 5, 1 is all about new beginnings. We had new beginnings in today's date. And 5 is a life path. So this is something new that really belongs on your life path that you're trying right now, which is gorgeous. And then combining those, 5 plus 1 equals 6. So it's the totality, the complete love between you and source. So it's really, really gorgeous. And then we have this beauty. I love that this comes out as the third card. And I will go into the extended one and see what else we will find around this. But this feels very final. New beginnings, 20. So 20 is speaking about like the year 2020 to me. But it's also like a higher version of you. This is a 2.0 version of you. And it says new beginnings. There's strong new beginnings here. We have an end here with the 9. It speaks about an end that will lead to a new beginning. We have a new beginning with this number 15, and we have a new beginning with today's date 18, and then we have the actual card where it says new beginnings. So it really is an emphasizing on the new beginning. And look at that, it's just being pictured, the family, how you want it to be. And you get to ask the divine of exactly how you want it to be. How do you want your situation for your love life to look? If you're single with children, how do you want it to look when you meet a new person? How does it look when you come together with this new person, with your ex, with your parent to your children? How do they fit into this new story? If you're already committed and you have maybe kids on both sides, or one have kids or whatever, how does it look? You get to choose. You get to ask for this exactly how it's supposed to look, because there's new energy now. We're new times for you to completely and just a little side note again. So some of you guys actually, and this takes probably a bit of courage to admit this to yourself. It might be, and it took me to so some of you guys might have just shut off the video already, and so you won't even hear this. Some of you guys have used your children as a means to not fully open your heart. Wow. No judgment. No judgment. I'm not judging anybody. I'm single with 2 kids. So I'm not judging anybody, okay? I'm just saying, sometimes what comes through here is that you're single until you're ready to meet somebody, until you're ready to open up your heart. You can be committed. You can be together with somebody, but you can live apart because that's as close. Like when somebody, including myself, I was seeing this person and they were not living close to me, and it was so tough to get together with them. So tough. It was like, I sit here with such an open heart, and I so love them, and I so want to be with them. And then I asked my guys, like, what is the hold up here? Why can we not be together in person? And the answer I got was because this is as open as you can be, because you want to be open, but they can't be closer to you or you would shut down. So that was as much as I could take in being with an open heart. If I had somebody across the world from me was not able to be in the same room with me, then it was really easy for me to be open-hearted and really in love. And when they came closer, it was like, ooh, a bit scary. So you might do the same thing. You might do exactly what I just said, because I was inspired to say that. But it might be also that you're using your children, that, it doesn't work with the children. Children are involved here somehow, some way. And, as soon as somebody gets too close, it's too messy, then we need to have a little get together with the kids again, and it messes things up when it gets a bit too good. But it's over now. It's new beginnings. You're choosing a new path, which means that you have opened up in your heart. You are ready to receive. If you're single, you're ready to meet somebody and really stay open even though you've let them in. If you're in a committed relationship and maybe your status on Facebook says that you're committed, you now are just starting to really become close in spite of the children. It's big spiritual growth here at the same time, which is always the reason for everything. So I'm going to do the extended. So if you feel like you're drawn to this today, you probably will resonate with the extended as well. Then it's in the description box down below with that little blue link. If this is where we part ways, then thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back in a week. Take care.